finally, the last thing really to think about in this post is to think about your normal standing kind of posture. I'm not going to go into this too deeply because it's a whole subject in itself, but I will talk about it at some point. But basically, I'm a great believer in that the radial nerve is often implicated in climbing elbow pain, if you like. And I think one of the problems that we have as climbers, or generally as people, is that we often find ourselves standing, and this is probably a bit of an exaggeration, but in this kind of position with the shoulders hunched, with the thumbs facing backwards, and it kind of also then that means that your elbow is slightly bent, and actually in that position our radial nerves in a shortened position, so it will adapt to that as a resting position really. And then when you come out of that position into these sort of positions, you know, which we often do obviously when we're climbing, you know, you can imagine catching campus rungs up here, you're then putting the radial nerve on quite a big stretch. So actually the thing just to sort of think about is, rather than being in this position, try and be in a little bit more this position. Actually, if you just sort of think about turning your thumbs outwards, you kind of almost can't really help but bringing your shoulders up a little bit, and obviously looking back and thinking about your pelvic position as well. If you're standing with your pelvis in a nice neutral position and with your thumbs sort of facing, if you like, at 45 degrees outwards rather than 45 degrees inwards, that's actually a much sort of better, if you like, standing position. And at first you'll probably feel a bit daft, but actually if you can get a bit more used to standing in that position, it's a much better position to stand in than this sort of position really. And although it seems fairly negligible, I suppose, the difference, I actually think that it you know, all these little things sort of add up really. And then when we go and put a big strain on our body, you know, if we can alter these small things, I think you can make quite a big difference basically. So yeah, just sort of thinking about standing more in that kind of position, I think that can be quite helpful.